So first of all, the we'll go through the normal stuff first. Okay, spell snare is there because it's pretty much the everybody's playing a bunch of two drops. There's a lot of one drops in the format right now, but there's a whole lot of permission that is playing two drops like counterspell and just Tarmogoyf, Rin 6. You're getting a lot of that. The spell snares are there for that, basically, and to stay competitive on the draw. Because it's us control, being on the draw sucks sometimes. It just takes a while to get your gears turning. So, and then thirst. Thirst is to hit anything and to deal with planeswalkers. So, mostly Rin 6 is nice because you can just just one mana for the black, and then paying 4 isn't really that bad. If they tap out for a big Teferi, it's not really that much to tap out to get rid of the Teferi. It's worth it completely. So, and then the Fatal Push package is obvious, just to keep their 1-drops and 2-drops under control for cheap. And then obviously we have to activate Revolt to get anything else out of it. So dress downs are basically main board Urza Saga hate. It's also for combat tricks. So the combat tricks, even get rid of Tarmogoyf. It makes Tarmogoyf a 0/1. Easy blocks for a Faerie. Also does a lot of cool stuff if you can just flash it in real quick. Makes Thalia something you don't have to pay for. It just makes combat weird, and sometimes that can give you the slightest advantage in these niche kind of situations, and you can prevail basically and make your cards more valuable than theirs for just that split second of an instance. Snapcasters just make sure that we can do more Cryptic Command things, more Fatal Push, keep us active. We're recycling our cards, getting more value out of our cards that we've already played once. Sprite, just, it's a Faerie staple. So Sprite just a staple for Faeries. Bitter Blossom is a staple for Faeries. Counter spells, just a great, card to keep them off things. So, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. We got these two Brazen Borrowers are basically bounce utility. They're there to get rid of anything that happens to stick to get through counterspell that I can't deal with right then, and I need to tempo them out just for a second or a turn. This is kind of like anti-Blood Moon. So if they play Blood Moon, you tap, put the mana in your pool, bounce the Blood Moon, and then you have next turn to try to draw an answer. And then obviously the 3/1 body after that, or anytime after that, it just comes in when you can afford the mana or when it's not threatening to put the creature in. And then Super Kinky Ninja, thank you for the follow. And Kato. Now Kato is the our second part of this engine is going to be Kato Suzuki. And particularly, it's really, really good to play this and then to neg 2 immediately to get that unblockable creature if you don't have a board. Okay? And then you can draw. Every time you attack, you can draw without discarding. So basically, you're just drawing a card every turn, and you're incrementally gaining advantage through the entire game. Now, in the last game, you saw Kato got to 7, and we are about to ult, and her ultimate ability will win you the game, and it'll just every time you hit with a 1/1 or a fairy, all of a sudden you've put another creature from your deck on board, and then you swing with that. Well, then they have a shinobi to deal with, and then they have a brazen borrower to deal with, or a snapcaster that brings back something. So you can play and go fetch snapcasters out of your deck for free to play any card in your graveyard again at and during that happens during damage phase. But then you can play that on your next main, your post-combat main phase, and you can deal with that. So there's a lot of utility here with the ultimate. Now, it's a weird ultimate, and you have to play around it. But it will win you the game. I don't think I've ever ultimated and lost the game. Because that's one thing about Planeswalkers that we have to worry about is their ultimate game winning and worth it. And this one is, and I think it's secretly worth it. So I don't think right away, I don't think it's not bonkers like Jason Mon Sculptor. That wins the game for people. 4 Cryptic Command, and this is where we get into the unpopular opinion. I'm playing 4 Cryptic Command because I like Cryptic Command. This is purely self-service. This is purely my want to run 4 Cryptic Command, even though everything in the format says don't run Cryptic Command. This is me. Do you necessarily have to run 4? No, but I am. I just love the card that much. It helps with everything. Could you cut one? Sure, I could, if I really, really wanted to. And then we have some more synergies. We have synergies for the Fallen Shinobi here. So if you notice, Bitter Blossom makes tokens. We have a bunch of flash creatures. Nijitsu brings those back to our hands. We also have a turn 3 where we can put a blocker or an unblockable creature into play for our turn 4 Shinobi. So if we don't have it, we can draw into it. A lot of instances, we just make a token and hoping we draw the Shinobi. And then the next turn 4, we Shinobi in. We grab 2 things off of their top of their deck, and we go from there. Which you can check out other YouTube videos on how Shinobi plays. I once grabbed a Olamog Ceaseless Hunger off a Tron player, and that's just game over. And he had a Worm Coil out, and he had a Karn Liberated out, and I took both of those answers away, and he just conceded instantly. It was a great top deck. I can't believe I got it. So to go on the higher end of our deck, now we have Morningtide Regent. It's format stable right now. It's just very good. It's cheap to bring in. This comes in as a 5/5 or 6/6 mostly. It's just good. And if they're playing graveyard removal, then it just makes this thing bigger as the game goes longer. So the format can deal with it, but it's just a good creature, and it flies. So, and probably the other card that is most notable in this deck is the March of the Wretched Sorrow. And this thing is great. It helps you stay alive from Bitter Blossom. Okay, it can target planeswalkers, which is huge, at instant speed, and you can pitch the black cards in your hand that you don't need anymore to it, and then you gain life based on that. So if I draw 2 Leyline of the Voids, or if I already have one in play, I can just pitch it to this, no problem. I can pitch an extra Kato. I can pitch an extra Bitter Blossom. and gain 2 life off of that. It's very, very helpful. It's very utility. And it also takes care of the problem with the deck. The deck having issues with planeswalkers. Dimir in general has a hard time dealing with it. And it's a direct damage spell, which you don't see in black a whole lot. That you're doing direct damage to something. It's kind of a red spell a little bit. But it has so much flexibility in it that I don't mind playing 1. And there's arguments. I could put 2. I could put 1 on the board if I really wanted to. But I haven't. So, and maybe I need to. Maybe that's what I need to do. Alright, so moving on to the sideboard. So Aether Gust deals with Jund. Deals with red and green things. Just it's good tempo. It also gets rid of Blood Moon for fairly cheap. So anything that hits the battlefield. Hurkyl's Recall artifacts keeps them at bay. Sides with Snapcaster Mage really well. So all these instants and sorceries are based off Snapcaster Mage and being able to reuse them. So I'm recalling twice, basically. And most of the artifact decks, they can handle once. They can't handle twice of 2 recalls. It's just too much for them. Mystical Disputes are anti-blue package. Force Negation, anti-blue package, but also combo that we can not stop while we're tapped out. So, and then we have another Bloodchief Thirst to deal with planeswalkers, and also creatures. Collective Brutality for burn. Doomblade for Murktides. Doomblade for... This could be a cast down if you really wanted to. It's up to you. Whatever you would like, whatever you don't like. I'm choosing Doomblade. So, and then Leyline of the Void. We have that. I'm choosing that for my Graveyard Hate. These can't be Grafdigger's Cage. They could be anything else. I could play Now Spellbomb. Anything. It's just the graveyard decks are very... you have to hate them out a little bit, and this is how I'm choosing to do it right now. And it's working. If they don't, game 2, if this comes down, sometimes it's just they lose. So, and then we have EE. There's so many 1-drops right now in the format. EE is just a staple and it's a must. There's argument to play more than 1 here, but so blue red shredder decks, they just play all those 1-drops and you can just clear them out. Also, this comes in and burn. Just anything I need to get off the table that's 3 mana. Probably the most notable thing is this takes care of Blood Moon. If I get 2 basics out, he can still Blood Moon, and then I can put this on 3 with a mountain off a non-basic, and I can get rid of it that way. So I have 2 ways right here to get rid of Blood Moon, which is essential, other than my countering and force negations, all of that stuff. So my favorite target for force negation is Blood Moon. So it's really hard. It's kind of hard to deal with if you don't get your basics out. But once you get your basics, you're fine. So, usually. And this is the flex slot. Everything has a big purpose. And this is our flex slot on the sideboard. And right now, it's going to be a Shadow Spear. I'm testing this card out. And this could be a Chalice of the Void. This could be the big Ashiok. This could be a Break of the Ice. This could be another more draw if I wanted to. Could be another Bloodchief Thirst if I wanted to. So it's really the flex spot in the list. So I recommend Chalice. I'm just not playing it right now because I'm testing some things out. But that's really the deck in a nutshell. And we will, and that's kind of what we're playing and why we're playing it. So, and then our lands are going to be normal. We're playing a couple Creeping Tar Pits. We're playing 3 Field of Ruin to take care of Urza Saga. So Urza Saga, if anything else, and then Cavern of Souls. We're getting rid of that stuff. The Tar Pits are there just to finish games. It's also an unblockable creature for Fallen Shinobi. And if I ever KO Walt, it's a guaranteed hit, basically, late game. So, we're playing Otawara, the Soaring City. It's amazing. It's great. And then we're playing a Riptide Laboratory to basically Spellstutter lock people out and Snapcaster lock people out. But that is the deck. That's where we're at with it right now. So, this deck wins. This can beat the meta currently. So you can beat every deck in the meta with this. So, yeah, give it a try if you'd like. Let me know how it is. You guys can check out my YouTube channel. And if you check out my YouTube channel right there on the bottom link, go ahead and go there and there's like 15, 16 videos up there. All different archetypes, all new archetypes of this deck. This deck very similarly. I think there might be a few changes to the deck, but not many. Maybe like 1 or 2 cards of